Hey guys, it's Kevin. It's going to be another classic movie review, and this movie I'm going to be reviewing, it is the second movie in the Austin Powers series. Of course, I reviewed the first one, and I was really looking forward to this movie. I have to say, this is for the 1997 action comedy classic, Austin Powers: The Spy Who Shagged Me. I was really looking forward to this movie. I was really surprised by how much I liked the first one. I didn't think I liked the first one as much as I did. I've always wanted to see it. And I heard this movie was nowhere near as good as the first one, so I had that. No, I knew that. I knew most people say it wasn't as good. However, I find a lot of movies that people don't like, I usually find something in them that I do like. And I was hoping that I would enjoy this movie as much as the first one. I watched the trailer. It looked really funny. The plot seemed really funny. But I have to admit, this movie is nowhere near as good as the first one. And like the first 20 minutes, I like hated this movie. It took me about 30 minutes to actually get into this movie, which is about 90, like I'd say like 85% of this movie I love. The other like 10% I absolutely hate. And I'm going to talk about what I hate about this movie. This movie is nowhere near as good as the first one. It is a good movie. It's a fun time, but it has a lot more problems. And my worry is now for the third one because I know the third one does even more than this one does, and I'm gonna talk and I'm gonna watch the third one and see if it's as bad. But let's get to the plot of this movie, which the plot of this movie is really stupid. Because if you guys remember, I'm gonna spoil this right away because this is so stupid. Because if you guys remember, Austin and Vanessa, they got married in the very beginning of the movie, and of course, she's not a main character in this movie because she's revealed that she was a fembot the whole time. It makes no sense. I understand that these movies are ridiculous. That does not mean that they can't make sense because the first one things did make sense. Yeah, there were random stuff, but it was funny. This is not funny. This is like, what the fuck? Like, you set up the whole movie to get these two together. They get together, we think everything's fine, and then we find out she's a fucking fembot. And then we find out the whole time that they knew. Like, everyone knew. All the secret agents, they all knew that she was a fembot, and it's like, what? Like, why didn't you try to stop her? Why didn't you try to warn Austin? Like, what was the plan here? Why did you do this? Like, what exactly were you thinking was gonna happen? It completely ruined that storyline for me, and I was almost done. Like, I was ready to just be like, I'm done with this series. Like, I was really pissed off when that happened, and basically Austin, like, then basically gets over it very quickly. He then like goes around the hotel lobby naked and then like starts basically having sex again. And I'm just thinking, why the fuck would you trust a single woman after what happened after that? Like, seriously, why would you do that? I understand Austin's an idiot and like he thinks he's the best thing ever. But seriously, why would you do that? Like, have some common sense, dude. Like, what do you, like, why would you trust any other woman after that? If that were to happen to me, I would not trust a single woman. Like, seriously, I'd just be like, are you a fembot? Are you real? Like, I really wouldn't trust anyone. And the plot of this movie is actually pretty funny, though, because Dr. Evil, of course, is back. He is now back, basically, and he comes up with this really interesting plan, which I thought was really interesting. He's developed this time machine to go back to the 1960s and basically steal what Austin has, because he wants to figure out what Austin has that he doesn't. What Austin has, of course, is his mojo, which is kind of like the source of his sex appeal. So he kind of takes that away from Austin, so he doesn't have that anymore. And basically, Austin, of course, wants to get that back, so he goes back into 1969 and this is when the movie actually starts to get good because he meets up with Heather Graham's character. Uh, Felicity Shagwell, who is also in the CIA, um, and basically they team up to find his mojo, and that's basically the plot of this movie. And yeah, it's really stupid, it's really simple, but I will admit that after we get to 1969, I really did enjoy this movie. I'm going to talk about some of the things that work very well in this movie, and things that don't really work so well. First of all, the acting. The acting here is great again. Mike Myers does another great job as Austin Powers. I really didn't like his character in the first 20 minutes of the movie, I have to say. I didn't really like what they did with his character. Once he got into 1969, I thought he was really funny. What I didn't like is how they handled his whole mojo thing. What I thought we were going to see is that women were turned off by Austin, that he wasn't like the sex god of the 60s. I thought he was going to be more of like they were turned off by him and everyone loved Dr. Evil. That could have been really interesting, but that's not what they do in the movie. It's okay what they did, but I just wish it would have been a little bit more interesting because him getting his mojo is not as interesting as it seems. And it could have been a lot more interesting. But I thought he did a good job as Austin Powers. He has some funny lines in this. Nowhere near as good as the first movie, but he still was very funny. My only complaint is like every single joke with him in this one is just sex, 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 and the first movie, yeah, that was a big thing, but like here it's just constant sexual references, and they're not all that like a lot of them are not very funny. Honestly, they're awkward. A lot of the lines in this movie are very awkward. They're not exactly funny, but I think Mike Myers did a great job, especially as Doctor Evil. Oh my God, Doctor Evil again steals the show. He was great in this movie. He knows his sidekick Mini Me, who I didn't really care about in the movie. I didn't think Mini Me was that funny, honestly. They have this one really funny musical number. What I like what they did with Doctor Evil in this movie is now that he's back in 1969, he's now acclimated to the 90s. He is constantly throwing out 90s references in 1969, and it's like he can never acclimate to his own time. It's hilarious. It works really well in this movie. I definitely really enjoyed that. I thought that was really funny. And once again, Doctor Evil really did steal the show. He's the best thing about these movies, I have to say. He is just hilarious, and I just thought he was great. Well, I don't really like Mini-Me. That Bastard was really funny. Yes, he basically is Shrek, because he basically is Shrek before Shrek existed, because if you listen to him, like, basically he has the same exact accent as Shrek. But, I mean, he was a really funny character. He's fat, and yeah, most of the jokes are fat jokes, but you kind of feel bad for the guy. You do, and I thought he was really funny. He's another one of Doctor Evil's henchmen. I thought he worked really well. A lot of the jokes are just him ranting, but I thought they were really funny. I definitely like what they did with his character. He was really funny. Heather Graham in the movie is Felicity Shagwell. I will admit, when she was first introduced, I'm like, they're just shoehorning in this random actress to just get someone else to replace Elizabeth Hurley. And I was really, upset about it. I'm like, no, I don't like this. But then when she started to team up with Austin, and like they had their whole storyline, I actually really liked it. It was kind of cute what they did with them. I liked her character overall. I thought she was a good character. I thought they had good chemistry. Nowhere near as good as Austin and Vanessa, but I definitely liked their chemistry. It kind of handled it a little bit different, which I liked. I thought it was well done the way they handled it, and I enjoyed it overall. It was cute. They had good chemistry, and I liked it. Um, Robert Wagner is number two. Really has nothing to do in this movie. Like he had a lot more to do in the last one. I didn't really, he really had nothing to do in this one. Rob Lowe plays the young number two, which is really funny to see. I have to say, he was great. Uh, Mindy Sterling in this movie as Fra. Now, Fra, I don't like what they do with Fra in this movie. Her storyline gets way too convoluted. She basically, Dr. Evil swallows Austin Powers, takes Austin Powers' mojo, and basically that makes him have the sexual urge that Austin Powers has. Him and Fra end up having sex, and basically, Scott becomes her son, who I have to say, Seth Green as Scott is so funny in this movie. I love his character in this movie. He constantly is trying to come up with these really good plans for his father. And again, I love in the beginning of the movie, he goes on Jerry Springer, and they're basically Jerry Springer, Dr. Evil is trying to get him to connect with him because they're still not connecting. But that's because Dr. Evil doesn't listen to a single word he says, which is hilarious. I mean, so many times throughout this movie, Scott just is giving like these really good plans, but Dr. Evil is just shutting them down because he thinks he's the best thing ever. There's this great part where Dr. Evil has the Death Star, and Scott's like, that was already invented. I thought that was hilarious. Seth Green just really stuck with this character, and he really did a great job. And I kind of like that they made his hair darker because it made him more of a villain. I thought that was good because the first movie he wasn't really a villain. Here, he definitely is more of a villain. I thought he did a good job in this movie. He was actually very funny. I really enjoyed his character. He was really good. Uh, Will Ferrell has a great cameo appearance in this movie. I don't want to spoil it, but it's the same character he played in the first one. He is hilarious. He is great. So everyone really did a great job in the acting. I thought everyone was really good. Let's get to the directing. Directing's all over the place. Directing is very messy. Biggest problem with this movie is that it's very, very convoluted, and that's because of the directing, the way they directed this movie. To me, this is what I think they were thinking. The first movie was so successful, they needed to step it up, which they really didn't. The thing that worked so well with the first movie is how subtle it was, and how much it was just like making fun of 1960s movies. That was fine. That's why it worked so well, and how it showed the cheesiness of them. They didn't really need to step it up here, and they really did, and it really didn't work at times. The things that they were trying to do, I didn't really like it. I didn't like Mini Me. I didn't really like what they did with Fat Bastard. I thought it was kind of dumb, really. I thought it was way too convoluted. That's really one of my main problems with this movie, is that it's way too convoluted. Also, the screenplay. The screenplay is not very funny. It's good. It's fun, but it's not really funny. A lot of the jokes don't really work in this movie like they do in the first one. Definitely the jokes worked a lot better in the first movie. I really see the jokes working here. And the other thing I have to say is they really why are there so many like awkward cuts? Like what is up with those random cuts like Austin dancing and then it cuts back to the movie? It's really weird. I never understood that. It's something I'll never get why the movie does that, and it's just weird. It's not funny. It's weird. Honestly, it's not funny. It never was funny. It's not funny here. And it never was funny. It's that simple. It's just not funny. I never will find that funny. I don't understand it. I don't get it. It's not funny. That's simple. It's not funny. Really, it's not. Uh, Another thing this movie does that I don't really like is that the first movie at least stayed grounded in like its reality. Like it sort of made some sort of sense. This movie's completely nonsensical. It goes against everything the first movie did, is a lot more outrageous than the first movie. Like there's literally a scene where Mini Me is like fighting Austin and it's ridiculous. And there are scenes of Fat Bastard having sex with Felicity. That's the other thing. There's a lot more gross out humor here, and it really doesn't work. There's this really stupid joke where basically Dr. Evil and Mini Me they go onto like this spaceship and it's shaped like a dick, and they constantly reference it throughout the movie, and it's not funny. And I didn't really find the joke funny. It was funny the first time, but they do like 3 times, and it's not funny. And that's something the movie doesn't get is that recurring jokes. They only work when the punchline is really funny, and it's not funny to this movie. What was funny is Doctor Evil not really knowing the ways of being so used to the '90s that he does that in the '60s, which really never stayed that much in the movie. In fact, what I told you guys, it's not actually that's only one scene in the movie when that happens. I would have wanted a lot more of that because it was really funny. I have to say, there's even a random musical number that really works well with that scene. It was really funny. I definitely really did enjoy that. So, I definitely don't like how they tried to make it bigger than the first one. I really didn't think it worked. There's a really dumb ending to this movie as well. I thought the ending was really dumb, and also the fact that like it literally ends like the first movie ends, and I was really like, really like, we know we're not going to see Heather Graham again because she's not in the next movie, and there's no explanation why. I'm pretty sure the third movie just gets lazy. I'm pretty sure. I'm not really looking forward to the third movie, but cinematography is good here, I guess. Cinematography is actually one of the best things about this movie. Cinematography looks really good. Makeup looks really good. Mike Myers definitely was dedicated to this movie because he's so unrecognizable as Fat Bastard and Dr. Evil. I mean, just the fact he can play these characters, I mean, that's dedication, really. It's really is dedication right there. A lot of people say that he shouldn't play Dr. Evil. He's just so good as Dr. Evil. That's the thing about Mike Myers, that he's so versatile as an actor that he can play really any role, and he's hilarious. So, and also the score, I love the Austin Powers score. I don't like the way they did in this movie. I thought it was stupid. I didn't think it was funny. The fact that he's like naked and just like going up to these random women, it wasn't funny. It was just weird, especially because the whole thing with Vanessa just happened. I found it stupid, and it didn't ruin the movie for me. Once the movie gets into 1969, you can enjoy it. It's enjoyable. It's not terrible. I enjoyed it overall, but I would have wanted it to be better than it is. This movie definitely gets a B minus. I'm really close to it. Had this movie not been as fun in 1969, I would have been really bored with this movie, definitely. And the movie is a little bit. The movie's not boring. It's just way too convoluted, and It's not. They try to make it way bigger, and it didn't really work. The thing the movie doesn't realize is that bigger does not mean better. More substance over, it was just like structure over substance really did not work, and I didn't like that about the movie. So overall, guys, Austin Powers, Spy Who Shagged Me, not nearly as good as the first movie. I still enjoyed it. It's a fun time. Once you get to 1969, you can enjoy it, but just know that it has a really dumb twist. It has some really dumb scenes, and it really is not. It doesn't work like the first movie did. It doesn't have the same kind of humor as the first movie. It's very different than the first movie, and it really doesn't work as well as the first movie. So overall, that's my review of Austin Powers' Spy Who Shagged Me, and I'll see you guys in my next video, which will be for Gold Member, because I am going to watch it, and I will review it, and I will see you guys for that. I am not at all looking forward to it. I watched the trailer. It looks absolutely horrible, but I will see you guys for that. Okay, which will probably be a rant, because I probably am going to hate this movie. I'm just going to tell you guys right now, I'm probably going to hate this movie. So I will see you guys for that review. Okay, bye.